B.L.T. It's one of my absolute favorite sandwiches. So today I'm starting from the bottom and building what is one of my absolute favorite BLTs. Let's start off with the tomato. I bought these beautiful heirloom tomatoes at the market and we're slicing these into thick rounds. Want them nice and thick. It is peak tomato season right now, and this is what the market had. But either way, just get the best tomato that you have. I'm laying these out onto a rack, and I'm gonna lightly season them with some sea salt. This is gonna concentrate a lot, so be very gentle with the salt. You're gonna wanna let these sit for at least 30 minutes, but up to a couple of hours to really drain out a lot of their moisture. And as the moisture drains out, it's gonna make not only perfectly seasoned, but also really concentrated and especially delicious tomatoes. So let's set these aside for about an hour and move on to the rest of the components for our sandwich. Next up is a Basil Mayo, which is a delicious mayo. I'm grabbing all 3 bundles of basil because the first step is to make a basil oil, and they're much easier to pull off in big volumes. So we're gonna pick off the leaves. Nasty stuff like that, you could pick around it. Nasty stuff like that, don't bother. Don't worry about little stems, just pick all the leaves. Making these bright green herb oils is actually pretty easy, but there's a very specific set of steps you've got to take in order to pull them off. And the first one is to blanch the herbs. So I've got a nice full pot of water, which I'm gonna bring up to the boil, and then we're gonna quickly blanch them. This is gonna cook in about 30 seconds, and if you go any longer, the basil is gonna turn brown. So you wanna make sure you've got everything set up first. Got an ice bath here, and one of these little pasta strainers or something like that, super helpful. Put all of our basil in there. As soon as you see the big bubbles, drop this right in, give it a stir, count to 30 in your head. Pull it out, and right into your ice bath. You can also just run this under a sink full of cold water. It works just as well. Make sure it's cold to the touch. Got 2 layers of towels here. I'm just gonna grab the basil and first squeeze as much of the water out of it as you can. The goal here is to dry it really well. So squeeze first. You can see why we use 3 bundles because it turned into almost nothing. So squeeze first, then lay them out in a single layer on the towels. Then another layer of some paper towels on top. Just roll it up to get it fully dried. Then grab a blender. Okay, next, all of the herbs go right in here. And I like a grapeseed for this. It's the cleanest tasting oil that I know of, but pick your favorite, canola works. And you wanna just cover these. See the exact recipe in the description for amounts. You want it to just be peering up over the basil. A little pinch of salt. You're gonna turn this on and blend it until you just start to see steam coming out of the top of the blender. Probably about 30 seconds or so. And I took that same ice bath from before and put a clean bowl over the top of it just to shock this to be beautiful. You can actually skip the blanching step, but it's only gonna stay green for a couple of hours at most. Whereas if you do these multiple steps, this will actually stay green for weeks in your fridge. We're just gonna take this, dump the ice out of the bottom bowl, dry it out with a clean towel. I like to roll the towel up like this, kind of lay it under the bowl to keep it from pushing. Get in there with a big couple of spoonfuls of Dijon, nice pour of white wine vinegar, some sea salt. Separate 1 egg, because we just need the yolk. Whisk, and then slowly, especially at the beginning, start to drip in this basil oil. The beginning part of the emulsion is the hardest part, but once it starts to get stable, you can get a little bit more aggressive with how you're pouring this in. Get all of that goodness in there. Check it for seasoning. Oh, that's so good. Perfect mayo. Next on the list is the bacon. Got a beautiful thick cut bacon, and I'm gonna lay these onto a tray. You can use a sheet tray if you've got 2 that kind of marry into each other. You can put some weight on it. Lay these out side by side, put a weight on it, pop into your oven at 350 degrees for about 30 minutes until it's very crispy. While that's working, let's finish this up. Because this sandwich already has so many incredible flavors, you wouldn't necessarily want to muddy them up with a bunch of extra complicated ones from like a sourdough or something. Going with a classic split top, white bread, nice thick pieces. We're gonna toast this. So just gonna brush this with a little bit of oil. I'm using this single pressed canola oil recently. I gotta say, it is delicious. But whatever you use, give that a nice little light brushing of oil. And once this is out, we're gonna put the broiler on, pop it in, give it a nice toast. Let's give that a good draining. Beautiful, crispy, and extremely flat bacon. Drain these on towels, just give them a cut. Let's finish this sandwich, shall we? We've got some of this beautifully toasted bread, and I'm definitely a bit of a sandwich nerd. And I think that the best way to do this is sauce on the bottom and the top. You gotta go big. You can't skimp on the sauce. And I think the best way to construct this is gonna be tomato on the bottom. I think you're gonna want tomato on the bottom of this. And then go with your bacon, and you gotta load it up. Can't skimp on the bacon. And then we've got this beautiful butter lettuce. We're just gonna put that right on top. Oh, that is a glorious, glorious looking sandwich, isn't it? Oh, she's beautiful. Let's cut into her. That is a nice looking BLT right there. I gotta get a thumbnail and then I'll be back to absolutely demolish this thing for all of us. Oh my God. Wow, it's a premium BLT. That basil is spectacular. And a nice tomato, when you let it degorge like that with a little bit of salt, it's hard to describe how good that is. You should definitely give that a shot, and I hope you enjoy.